I'll start with a soundy one, which is a bit of a vocal warm-up for me. Okay, this one's called Talking to Silence. I think maybe if we bring the mic up a bit for this, because I'm going to make some quiet sounds. Sickening. Doubt in tongues, doubt in to decorate this speech. Silence, risk, thinking, sinking, sickening, kick towards speaking, doubtful, listening, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, sick, tell how, talking to, looking, sick of swallowing, dividing, watch how this divided space breathes, separates. Into you, to reflection is licking me, spitting me out like an unwanted diary entry. I have become graffiti, engraved on the inside of this bottom lip. I spill myself slip. I see this as reflection, is this C-I-E, reflect, or E-E, I see this as reflection, is this I-E, reflect, or E-E, I see this. And it breaks. Drowned, down, owned, gone, now, someone. I'm a dot now, rotting over eye, blood cut and memory clot. The other is self, issues of speech underneath, all speech and sound. I hook her and fling back. This is what I mean by dancing. Joy, 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 I am going to be to going, am I? Joy, joy, joy. Talk, talk. I'll take some words and make some sense. For you, 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 for you. Thank you. Thanks. So, yeah, I skipped the end 2 lines of that piece and just played instead. What am I doing next? Okay, yeah, I'm going to do Gaddafi next. So maybe we take the mic just down a little bit for this. Yeah, Gaddafi. It's called Gaddafi, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. I'm not going to tell you my name, Gaddafi, but I am going to tell you my age, Gaddafi. My age is 10, Gaddafi. And I am going to tell you about a game, Gaddafi. A game that I play, Gaddafi. I play with my friends, Gaddafi. You can play it alone, Gaddafi, or play it with friends, Gaddafi. Go into a room, Gaddafi. A room with strong walls, Gaddafi. Strong floor and strong ceiling, Gaddafi. And choose a word, Gaddafi. Not any word, Gaddafi, but carefully, Gaddafi. You carefully choose, Gaddafi. An immense word, Gaddafi, with immense meaning, Gaddafi. With immense meaning to you, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. And with your friends, Gaddafi, all together, Gaddafi, together you chant, Gaddafi. You chant that word, Gaddafi, over and over, Gaddafi, Gaddafi, over and over. We chose a word, Gaddafi. We chose this word, Gaddafi. We chant, Gaddafi, 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 over and over. Gaddafi, 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 together. Gaddafi, 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 loudly. Gaddafi, 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 all through Gaddafi, the night, Gaddafi. And through Gaddafi, the day, Gaddafi, the Gaddafi night, the Gaddafi day, Gaddafi, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. Other words might be quicker, Gaddafi. But this word, Gaddafi, this word takes longer, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. We stay in the room with strong walls, strong floors, strong ceiling, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. For day after day after day, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. Week after week after week, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. Until Gaddafi, at last, Gaddafi. One morning, Gaddafi, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. One morning, the word is the same as all other words, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. But we keep on chanting, Gaddafi, 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 until the word loses its meaning completely, Gaddafi. And we keep on chanting, Gaddafi, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. We chant our way through this loss of meaning until we become a Gaddafi of horses galloping, Gaddafi, Gaddafi, Gaddafi. Thank you. The next one, I'm going to do a couple that kind of segue into my new stuff. This is called Puffer Jacket, and I wrote it when I was living in Berlin for 3 months, and my pronunciation is appalling. I was living on Oranienburger Straße in East Berlin, and that's where the prostitutes stand. And in the winter it's quite cold, so and they have this uniform of puffer jackets, and they will put corsets on top. I'm a woman in a puffer jacket. I'm a woman in a puffer jacket with a corset on top. I'm a woman in a puffer jacket with a corset on top, standing on Oranienburger Straße. I'm a woman in a puffer jacket with a corset on top, standing on Oranienburger Straße, wearing a lot of makeup. I'm a prostitute on Oranienburger Straße in East Berlin, giving a handjob outside a club, making small talk. I am everything you are looking for in a woman in a puffer jacket, because it's cold and a corset on top, with very blonde hair contrasting nicely with my fake tan. I'm a doll, but I'm real for sale. For one night I could be yours. Love me, pay me, fuck me, I will always be there for you, except when I'm with someone else. I'm trying to be a doll built like a Barbie, but I've failed because I'm alive and I'm just a normal woman in a puffer jacket with a corset on top. And you want a doll for life. She didn't know what it meant when she walked through the city of the rich, and no one touched her, except physically. What do you do with a slut? Reach for the ketchup bottle. Go back to the riverbank where the swans were sleeping before they were hurt by the edges, the dream's actual edges. She is merely walking a street, identity burning between legs. She takes a piece of broken glass, her saliva is dead water. All the kisses join up, like tears on a window forming bridges. She learns how to speak. She holds a gun in her hand. She wishes she held a gun in her hand. You will leave behind an immensely human smell. So that's the end of my old stuff. This next project that I'm working on is called Schlock, with an exclamation mark. And I'm writing it by splicing together 50 Shades of Grey, which you might be familiar with. And a book called In Memoriam to Identity by Kathy Acker, that some of you might be familiar with, but it doesn't matter if you're not. So Kathy Acker wrote by splicing together high literature, lofty ideas and good writing, with schlock, which is text that's just like put together really quickly, and it's everything that's abhorrent to good society, like pornography and things, movies that go straight to DVD. So I thought today's schlock might be 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm going to spice that together with Kathy Acker. And I'm changing words like submissive to mother and dominant to child or baby, and I found that did interesting things. And also this ends up being a bit about Kathy Acker and her life and writing into death, and she died of breast cancer in Mexico, I think in 96. So I'm going to do a couple from the beginning and then a couple from the end. It's a book, I wrote it really, really quickly. I've got a whole book already, which is quite cool because this took 6 years or more. The child, above all, wants to be destroyed. Before being born, he asks his mother, "How much pain are you willing to experience?" The pregnant woman already knows what it is to be flogged, spanked, whipped, and corporally punished. "I'll show you how bad it can be," her unborn son says. "Santa Claus doesn't exist," she replies. "Ouch, are you stamping your little foot? Whose identity am I, and whose identity are you?" The entrance to her womb reads, "Emergency." She must be spread open. Her heart must show. A woman is tractable, compliant, pliant, amenable, passive, resigned, patient, docile, tame, subdued. A powerful man does not need implements. While the child is being born, the woman acknowledges that even vanilla heterosexual fucking is painful. She looks up into rows of blue eyes. What is it with all the immaculate blondes? I don't have the strength to lift my arm and feel him. My baby likes to hurt women, she realises. The thought is depressing. Since you haven't let my nipples go, I have to be wherever you take me. The milk continues to flow. Education is an act of love. The child informs his mother that mothers always love their children. Why the fuck didn't you tell me? She's just joking. She knows that in reality there's no reality. She has to find reality, something for the baby to grow up inside, something better than her stomach, which is surely full of beer cans floating in pools. A very small inner goddess sways gently. She's a bit pissed. I arm myself against love by becoming a weapon. He gurgles at her breast. You disobedient little temptress. Her inner goddess glared at her, tapping her small foot impatiently. Is your body sick now? I'm sorry, she breathed, chastened. An immaculate blonde nurse ordered me to lie down on a hospital bed, and she put a hand up me and hurt me. I didn't think it would be like this. The mother never thought politically. I need lots of attention, Mummy, the baby cried. Kathy bowed her head. There is a large wooden cross like an X fastened to the wall facing the door. The baby is like a specimen in an old crusty museum. There are restraining cuffs on each corner. Rings are for marriage, belonging to the world, like the people you can read about in newspaper stories. Women are always sick for wanting to eat up your soul. Ladies know what to guard against because they read novels that tell them of these tricks. Tess would succumb. Jane Eyre would be too frightened. This is between women. How much pain is the child willing to experience? Where 1 is likes intensely and 5 is dislikes intensely. Touché, the child couldn't answer that. Why didn't you tell me you were a virgin? She closes her eyes and counts to 10. The child is silent. The child hasn't yet learned how to talk. I knew you were inexperienced, but a virgin? I found some baby oil. Let me rub it into your behind. There, that wasn't so bad, darling. Am I a mother? Maybe I come across this way. Maybe I misled him. Why didn't I have a scorpion? I didn't want this, I guess, pain. May God forgive me. There is nothing in this world that can be unborn. I wanted my body to be mine. I didn't want a baby because I didn't think about having a baby. A ghost walked out of my body. She was still bleeding between her legs. There's a very fine line between pleasure and pain. They say suffering changes a person. You are simply exquisite, the most beautiful, intelligent, witty and brave baby I have ever met. Take some ibuprofen. This is not a request. And don't waste my milk. I will know, and quite frankly, it makes me mad. My subconscious is spanking my baby to see if he can take it. My inner goddess is turned on by watching the baby's beautiful alabaster skin as it turns pink. Ultimate control over somebody else. This is what motherhood is. This is what childhood is. Whose identity am I and whose identity are you? Perhaps if the child were normal, he wouldn't want you. My subconscious nags. My inner goddess has pom-poms. My subconscious scolds. My inner goddess is in cheerleading mode. My subconscious frowns. My inner goddess has a do not disturb sign on the outside of her room. My subconscious chides me. My inner goddess sighs with relief. I'd say you're thoroughly fucked and in need of sleep. I patiently undress my child as if he's a small child. Since women don't have history, we make ourselves up. I don't want him to beat me. Is that so unreasonable? How did you feel while I was hitting you and after? I didn't like it. I'd rather you didn't do it again. You weren't supposed to like it. Their relationship was progressing. It smelt of baby oil and talcum powder and shit. There were no windows to open in this flat, the mother apologised. The baby screamed. Do you think you could just try to embrace these feelings, deal with them? For me, that's what a baby girl would do. The baby boy clamped onto her tit. This is mine, he whispered aggressively. All mine, do you understand? She nodded. This conversation is not over. She blanched. I can track your cell phone, remember? He whispered menacingly. She stared down at him in wonder, rendered speechless as her insides melted. He is, without doubt, the most beautiful baby boy on the planet, and he is sort of mine, she thinks. The idea sent a thrill through her blood and dispelled her self-doubt. Sooner you're in bed, sooner you'll be fucked, and sooner you can sleep. She playfully slapped his ass. The second one I read had a line that goes, the woman is tractable, compliant, pliant, amenable, passive, resigned, patient, docile, tame, subdued. So I took that line and found some other words in it. Ooh, more like this side. Tract, able, comely, completely, plet, pleat, plom, plop, mop, mope, telly, peel, me, come, plant, ant, map, liant, pliant, amen, able, blame, blameable, sieve, I've sat, sit, viz, sieve, sign, signed, need, gen, sing, at, pat, net, nat, tit, tempt, do, docile, oil, tame, maim, me, tea, bed, sud, sub, dead, bud, sued, dew. And they come up in various places, including this one. This is now towards the end. Kathy didn't want to be a tract, wasn't able to hope for broken glass. She was in prison. Comely little girl, completely mad. Kathy has been lots of places. She plet her tongue before locating her desires, and when she disappeared, she pleated the ocean. Kathy was neither shame nor guilt nor plum. She would plop her worn-out cunt. She would mop up her father and mother and join us for a tea party. Kathy would mope for hours each day in front of the telly. She would peel the skin from the corner of her lips, blow it towards me, and I would come, with her dusty skin falling all around me. Kathy had a plant and she called it Kathy. An ant climbed all over the leaves, a little map that Kathy would read when she needed more words in her liant. Kathy was a liar and she always told the truth. Kathy had pliant legs and strong hands and an overly sensitive clitoris. Kathy said amen once and then laughed, just because she was able to blame someone at last. God is so blamable, so invisible, so sieve. I've sap from Cathy's skin in a tiny test tube, and I sip it when I need a bit of viz scattered around the cold room. Cathy is a sieve I use sometimes when I need a sign. Every one of Cathy's books is signed with need, with Jen was sing at patterns. Cathy used a net to make stories, and Cathy had natty tits hidden in a tent top until needed. Cathy had a doll called Cathy, a soil doll with oil in her hair, a tame doll with Cathy arms. The doll was lame and had me taken out of her palms, and Cathy drank tea when she was in London, sitting on her bed. I stood next to her, and I would sup tea with her, and I am not dead, but she is, and when I sued Cathy for stealing my words, she told me she was due, and that it was time to deliver her. How much pain are you willing to experience? Cathy asked me. She explained that she wanted to hold out her arms inside me, and push, and push, and push, until I start shaking. Hurt me, baby. Show me what love is, I told my Cathy child. This kind of possession isn't bearable because it is absence. Who dies for love now? Tears had become and are becoming tears. Cathy is a building in which the windows and doors no longer exist. It isn't like obeying, or whispering, or mine to play with, or Christmas. This urge is to be more fully felt, to be held tight in an orgasm, to be taken so that the body falls away and is nothing and is power. To be slapped is to be real, loved, alive, possessed, away from yourself and into yourself completely. Death was like this. It held onto Cathy's breasts firmly. It said, I will hold you here, and then you can love all you want. Death held her up by her clitoris and let her flesh fall away from it all. Death filled up her flesh and fleshed her out and ate her flesh entirely. Death was a never-ending tongue that she knew how to speak better than anyone else. Death made perfect sense, and she needed to scream in its face, fuck you, Death. Death was fucked to the bottom of despair, and underneath it all, and the layers of death were layers of words, and she had always fought through, and now all she could do was lie back and float. And Death took her two breasts in two palms and squeezed until Cathy was pure laughter, laughing in its face, and she takes its mush and gravity and writes all over it until death is nothing. Death has no mother. Thank you very much.